Hi, this is Josh from Sweet Tree Productions. Today we're going to go over a little bit about the Avolites Pixel Mapper and what all you can do with that using some different layout tools that we'll kind of get into as well. Anyway, so over here on your program, what we're going to do, I've gotten a group kind of made that we're just going to kind of work with, and what it does is it's got all our pixels individualized to where we can move them around as we want to, but we're going to kind of use them as they're kind of made at the moment. So we're going to click on that group, we're going to go to Shapes and Effects, go into Pixel Mapper, and what we're going to do first is we're going to edit that group layout, and it's going to ask you again to select the group that you want, and we're going to go back to that group. We're going to clear. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit, and you can see all the pixels for all four of these four freedom sticks are on here. What we're going to do is we're just going to kind of organize that a little bit. I'm going to take our first one here. You can see 16.1 through 16.16, all 16 pixels. We're going to extend our grid a little bit to make sure we have 4 lines here. I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to take it, zoom out a little bit, get kind of to where I can get back to that first row, and take it back over here. Grab 18.1 through 18.16. I have to do a little bit of click and drag, and 19.1 through 19.16. Then we're going to take them all and rotate them. We're going to have to do a little bit more snapping at the moment. There we go. We're going to take all of these and move them down to where we can kind of see them. We're going to press this crop grid button, and what that's going to do is it's going to make it a little bit easier in Pixel Mapper just to see the groups that you have. And you can see I've gone down now and I've got 16, 17, 18.1, 19.1 through 16, 17, 18, 19, 16. And that's just the user number of our fixtures and their pixel number. So our first one is 16 pixel 1. We're going to get back out of that, and we're going to take again and go to Shapes and Effects, Pixel Mapper. We're going to press Create Effect this time. We're going to have to select our group and then press Create Effect. And you can see we can't really see anything here, so what I like to do is go ahead and turn that fixture overlay to 50/50, just so you can get a little bit of what's happening there. And what you can do on this pixel map effect here, on this first line, you can give yourself kind of a background color you want to work with. So we're going to give ourselves a red, and we're going to bring the opacity up. I may bring it only to 40% or so. And we're going to shine the LEDs. And on our freedom sticks now, you can see they're a reddish pink, which is just kind of the color we chose. So now what we're going to do, we're going to create in here on our layer 1. We'll go back out and kind of look at this a little bit before I do this. So on each little cell, you're going to have some different options here. The majority of them you won't have to worry about too much, especially this background for the pixel mapper effect you're building. You won't have to worry too much about X and Y and that kind of thing. It'll move your background around, but the way Avolites has it made, it should be sized enough to where if you keep it just at 0% there on X and Y, it should fill up a nice little background for this, unless you just want to get it smaller, and then you can zoom it around, rotate it around, however you need to do. And you can set this effect to run for kind of like our shapes. You can think of this as infinity, an infinite amount of cycles, and that's just what this whole little slider will do. or it can run for, I guess, up to 30 beats, unless maybe we can type in more. Nope, 30 beats is the max. And then you can tell it what to do after it reaches, say, we'll say 8 beats. We'll just type it in here. 8 beats at 60 BPM. And you can say it'll freeze, it'll kill, or it'll stop spawning. It'll freeze on its last effect that you have. It'll kill the effect and you won't see it anymore. Or it'll, if you have a movement, which we'll go over in a minute, it'll just stop spawning those movements and those shapes. We're going to, and I've exited out of my, let me get back into this real quick. Get our red back up to 40. Sometimes you press the wrong key, it just happens. So then you have these layers to each of your pixel map effects, and what you can do, you'll have to add and I'll have to go back out here and flash the LEDs and bring my saturation up to red. There we go, just like we were a minute ago. And what you'll have to do to actually see something here in your little, we'll call it a viewer, you'll have to go down here to your plus symbol and you'll have to add some kind of shape. What we'll do, we'll add this little square in, and you can see it's kind of just in the middle, just kind of taking up this amount of space, and then it's kind of taking up into a little of these pixels as well. If I don't like that, say I only want to take 4 squares somewhere up in this region up here, what I'm gonna do, the easiest way is to zoom it down. Alright, now we've got it taking up 4 squares. You can use your encoders for this, so I'm gonna do that for my Y value. I'm just gonna click on my Y value and scroll up, and it has them flipped. And now it's going to be at the top of those, which for my freedom sticks is the second and third pixel from the bottom, which is just kind of where their fixture starts. You can fix that if you want your top to be your true top of your freedom sticks, or your whatever pixelating fixture you have. You can fix that in that layout editor. You would just take your starting pixel and put it on the bottom instead of putting it on the top. So what we're going to do now, I've got that kind of where I want it. I don't really want to change the size, but if I wanted to, you could do it on these sliders, or you could do it on that zoom again. If you want it to be a different rotation, you can either use your little slider here, and you can see as I do, this little knob is turning. That's just, if you click on it, it goes to preset positions that are common. For a square, you're not going to get a whole lot of very different looks. It's either going to be that, or it's going to be a diamond. And you can also, if you want a specific degree, you can go in here. It just works based on the degree system. So now I've got this. I'm thinking, what can I do with this? We're going to create a little shape real quick. What we're going to do is we're going to create an E, and I'm going to take, that's at 50. We're going to scroll this up a little bit more to these two. We're going to widen it out. Now I've got that one. I'm just going to go through and I'm going to add some. What you can do, you can copy that layer to this, if it'll let me do it. There we go. You can see it's just as I click on it more, it'll add more layers. So we're going to take this second layer here, and we're going to bring him down on our Y value so we can see him. There he is. We're going to bring him somewhere down around the middle. rotate him around by just our little clickers there. And then we're going to move him over with our X encoder. And because I've rotated him now, our width is going to go up and down. So we're just going to kind of max him out. We may have to move him around to really get that thing we want. And I'm going to make him to where he's only 1 pixel long. So I think that's going to be somewhere around 25% of the height. Move our X again. You can see now he's kind of fitting only into 1. Move our Y down a little bit. And we've kind of got the side of our E going. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give us, for the rest of them, I'm just going to copy this block. We're going to copy him again. And I'm going to try to figure out which block is which. This one should be one of our top ones here. Nope, this one is our side one. So we'll take this block, and all we're going to do is take his X value, and we're just going to bring him down somewhere around the middle, somewhere in there. And then we're going to take this block and do the same thing with him until we find him where we want him to be. It's kind of how you create a basic shape in the pixel mapper. You can see now we've got an E here, and on our actual freedom sticks you can see we've got an E as well. You can do a little bit more with that. We're gonna make him go kind of crazy, so it's gonna be an E kind of in motion here. And the way we're gonna do that is with our animations tab. So we're gonna take this first block and we're gonna let him spin. And you can see you've got some different options for animations here. You can make him go faster. And I can see him on my freedom sticks. He's going kind of crazy. I don't think I like him that much. I think we're going to go back down to 1 and just let him speed there. You can make his speed random and it'll kind of randomize out. You can see every time we start this effect, he'll choose a random speed and he'll just go with it. We're going to take that out. We don't really want that. We're not spawning any new pieces at the moment. If I want to do that, if I go to 50 and he's rotating, it just looks like one big ball. So we're going to make that. We're going to take it out first and let it cancel itself back out in just a minute. You can make it spawn random. You can make it spawn for forever. And those are kind of just kind of along that same line of that speed earlier. It looks like he's still kind of stuck spawning. We may have to delete this one and copy him back. So we're going to delete this animation real quick, just so we can still see what we're doing, and bring him back in. And there you can see him spinning again. We can make him spawn for forever. We can make him spawn for a limited number of times. Up to 100 it looks like. And then we can choose how long he's kind of doing the shape for, how long he's running for, and then what his options are at the end. You can change his start and end angle if you wanted to do that. We're not going to change it. We're going to keep him spinning from 0 to 360. With our side here, we're going to make him kind of zoom in. You can see he's not quite getting all the way there, so we're going to kind of slow him down. And we're going to bring his cycles in a little bit more, just to make sure he's doing it, and just to make sure he's really filling up where he's supposed to be. We're going to get to about 150. You see you've got some different options here just because it's a different animation at the bottom. On our other one here, just some different. You can see he's gonna kind of do that, and you can start. he has some if you move him around, you can make it to where he kind of slides across the screen. What we'll do here, there he goes. Now he's coming across from the side of the screen, all crazy like. And you can change his direction. You can make it to where he goes. You can kind of see him coming across downwards now, kind of doing that motion with his with his direction slider. So you've got some different options with each little animation. You can make his direction random if you want to. This one just fades in and out. He's got his start opacity and his end opacity. So that's a little bit of the pixel mapper. We're gonna get rid of our animations and leave our E here again. It looks like our block is still kind of out of view. Just find him again. Where did he go? He's gone. He's still there. He's just hiding. There we go. Bringing him back to 50. So there's our E. So if this is what we want, we can record this anywhere. We can record this to a just record this shape to one of our macros up here, one of our executors. If I did want, say I want the whole layer to have an animation, I can do that as well. We're gonna make him do that. It didn't do it for me. I don't know why it didn't do it for me. We'll just keep all of these spinning and doing random things. Say I want the E to go crazy at some point for some reason. I'm gonna let it do that. I'm gonna record that somewhere else. And now I have a pixel map effect to where it's going, one is going crazy and one isn't. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna give us a little view so we can see what each is doing, with a nice little window that I use for this a lot called Pixel Mapper Preview. And you can see, because I have this effect running, you can kind of get an idea of what the freedom sticks are doing in that Pixel Mapper preview. So we're going to get out of that, and what we're going to do, say I want to be able to change the color of that. Well, we can do that if we press on our console here. There's this nice little include button. What we can do is we can press it, and I'm going to go to our static E, and it's going to include this effect again. I want to be able to change the color of it, so I'm going to go down to this, our layer 1 here, and I'm going to press use master. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to update that by just pressing record on our static effect up there. We're going to get ourselves we're going to go down to create master, pixel mapper, and layer 1. And I'm just going to put it right here beside our freedom stick master down here. Get out of those menus. And what that's going to do, if you have an attribute editor set up, which what we'll do, we'll close this window. If you have an attribute editor set up, what you'll end up seeing when you click on that layer, you'll see kind of an attribute editor for that layer, and it's going to be able to change colors. And we'll bring up our effect here, and you can see the background has come up, but my layer master is down. When I bring that layer master up, we can fade that E in, and we can change the color of the E if we want to. Say I want it to be blue. Now it's blue. We're going to bring our freedom sticks master up as well, and you can mess around with it in here. You have some intensity options where you can take that master back down for that layer. kind of fade it back out to that red, fade it back into the E. You can move it around if you want to. It went a little fast. Let's get him back to 0. You can see he can kind of move around as I'm moving around with the encoders. Kind of up and down. You can play with that. Get him back to 0 as well. And again, you can change his color with any of the color options that we've talked about. And his angle, you can index him around all the way to 360. Go all the way back, and you can zoom and zoom him in. Any of this can be useful for any kind of shapes you're using, and this can also be done on our moving one as well. If we just go back through, turn that effect off, we include this guy again. I don't have my effect editor open. That's why I'm not seeing him pop up. There we go. So we can go back to our layer 1, click use master, and you can see in the pixel mapper preview it's still blue because I've now added it to that. And we're gonna just record that shape and let it update on that, on where we've recorded it. I'm gonna open my attribute editor back up so we can kind of mess around with that. And you can see you can do all the same things, and it'll do a few different. We'll get back to white so you can kind of see what he's really doing. You can still play with him. You can see he does a few different things with his movement. The more you move him around, that kind of thing. So that's a little bit about the pixel mapper, and just kind of some basic stuff you can do with it. It's kind of one of the cool things of Titan that I've really enjoyed messing with. You can assign, because these are all shapes, technically, you can assign any of these effects that we've built to any of the speed masters that we've talked about and that kind of thing, if you wanted to do that. And that's kind of one way to one approach to the pixel mapper. Thanks for watching. I think that's all you really need to know about that, and give us a call if you need anything.